Hello everyone, my name is Kleinicus, and welcome to my Let's Play of City Skylines. So we're currently working through one of the scenarios as a part of the Disasters DLC, and in the last episode we made a pretty good starting island. We've already had one earthquake, which luckily didn't impact us too much, but it definitely does show that there is stuff to be considered going forward, for sure. So right now we are currently at one island being built out, and hopefully in this episode we'll be able to start moving a lot of this out to some of our further islands and try to expand the area that we had access to. The one thing I didn't notice in the last episode actually is that because we purchased this second plot of land up here, we now actually do have road access, albeit a little limited, to some of these smaller islands, which might not be a bad idea for moving some of our pollutative, if that's a word, probably not, services up there. So here we go, let's get started. So people are currently moving in. We've got a pretty good distribution right now of our residential, the green buildings, the commercial, the blue buildings, and our industrial, the orange buildings. But the one thing that was really important in the last episode that we saw was that we now have access to doing zoning for some of our industrial buildings, which means we can take advantage of all of these trees, the forestry that's out here. So I'm going to pause this real quick, and I think we might have enough... I was going to say we have enough money to do that, but we still have a negative income, so I kind of want to wait until we have a positive, just to really make sure we're not messing ourselves up. After all, one of the failure conditions is to run out of money, so we definitely don't want that to happen. Now, luckily we've got people moving in, buildings being set up, so we should, fingers crossed, be okay. Yep, there we go. Plus 22, so at least we're on the right track. Of course, as soon as one disaster hits, we know that that's going to go south very quickly. So in the meantime, let's take a look at some of our services. Okay, so we're still good for our landfill. We're 1% there, no issue there. Average health, 71%, not too bad. 20% is actually our minimum threshold for success as one of our win conditions. Fire-wise, we're doing all right. They're 27%. Okay, maybe we're not doing that good, but we have enough coverage in the main area here, and I guess the only reason is because our industrial here is a little hard to get to. It's okay for now. Don't tell them. Crime rate's alright as well. Literacy. Okay. Literacy and education. This was the one thing we had not looked at last time because of money, but I think we are going to look at now, actually. So all of our residential buildings are plotted around here, so we're going to, I think, plop you. Do we want to do it down here, perhaps? Oh, we can't actually because of the water. Makes sense. We want to do it up here. You know what? Let's do it up here. It is an elementary school, so it kind of makes sense that that would be within a subdivision. And also, we also have access to a high school and a public library. That'll be good as well, but costs 22,000, so I think we're going to pass on that just for now. But we should be okay here for an elementary school. Nice. And I think that covers off all of the initial needs that everyone's going to have. Obviously those needs will develop over time and will hopefully be a little more responsive to that. Alright. So right now we're looking at... You know what? Let's refinance here. Let's pay back and take out. There we go. So we have a little bit more money to work with. You know what? Later in the episode, I think we'll try and build out to the second island for our industrial. For now, I think we're still okay. For now, we should be okay. Let's focus on a bit more of our commercial here, because that's needed. And the one thing we actually noticed last episode too that's kind of interesting is we kind of had to make a bit of a unique little road set up here to get to the north side of the island, mainly with these sort of one-way roads here that are coming off the highway. It's a little odd to get to, but we did have enough space to build a small sort of U-turn area here, which actually, before I forget, let's convert that road very quickly to a one-way road. It's just because we don't want anyone coming from the north in this direction here right now, wherever that is, and making a U-turn to go the other way on the highway. We strictly want it for the purposes of people who are coming from the south side of the island, from here, to have access to the north side of the island. So be that way, and this way here. That makes sure that we have a full circuit, because apparently everyone in this game abides by traffic laws, which is very, very helpful. Alright, here we go. So we've got all of that planned out, so I think maybe we can start pushing some of our stuff into the north. So let's take a look at getting... Oh, hey, here we go, Boomtown. So we can now have access to transport. We've got ferries, buses, trams, taxis. That'll be good, actually. Here we go. We've got some policies. We'll look at the policies a bit after, when we start getting some of our... a couple more things figured out in terms of where we want our islands to go and how we want to build things up. So we'll kind of wait on that for now, but still something good to consider for sure. Alright, so let's get some more residential going up here in the north. Push you up here. Actually, you know what? We'll get it to about here. That should be okay, because that'll get a bit of like a northern outlet going, sort of. The idea is I kind of want to keep pockets of residential together, because that helps it be a bit easier to plan the services, as well as make sure that, well, not everything's centralized in case, you know, a disaster hits one particular area. So we'll build this out here. We'll get ourselves a bit more commercial here. And we're already polluting this side of the island, so we'll do a little more, just a little more of that. There we go. So we've got a little bit more of the industrial. Afterwards, though, we are definitely building out here, for sure. Actually, you know what? I say that, and I look at the money, and I see you've got about $66,000 with plus 500 a week, in-game week. So you know what? Sure, let's do it. Let's make this happen. So how do we want to do this? Because right now we've got two main highway accesses here. One that goes one way north, and one that goes one way south. Okay, excuse me, radio announcer. I am talking. I'll let you finish. Alright, are you done yet? No, you're not done yet. Okay. Well, I'm going to talk over you instead, actually. Thank you. Because we have the two roads coming in here as a highway, we can either extend those and continue it onto the second island, or we can just have it going as one road, kind of like a roundabout almost. I don't know if we have enough space, to be honest, to complete a roundabout. This is going to be tricky, actually. No, you know what? We're gonna... It's fine, because honestly, we're not planning on having the highway... Well, probably not planning on having the highway going all the way out this way. And maybe we might, a little in the future, perhaps, or a major road to get to, like, these larger crescent islands. So for now, I think we're okay having it as a bit of, like, a traffic calmed area. So to get this going, let's actually get rid of all of this here. Let's get rid of all that there. We're going to let the game get rid of it all for us. I could delete the buildings myself manually, but by having the game do it, it actually reflects a bit better in the needs at the bottom for us. So let's dezone. Oh, can I not dezone you? Well, what are you? You're Ice Cube Factory, so why are you not dezoning? Huh, that's weird. Maybe it's just a second it'll dezone for us. Might just be a little bit of a delay there. Either way, we'll need to get electricity back out there for that guy. There we go. Okay, it was just a bit of a delay there, so it shouldn't be a problem. Whoops. so if we're building out this way, we're still good with this one road being our access, but alright, because we have a bit more importance now on this road, we're gonna make it into a two-way, or four-lane, two-way road, rather than the two-lane, two-way road. And we're gonna build this out here. Oh, that's expensive. Oh boy. But you know what? That actually works out. Alright, so we have our first bridge built here, so that'll get us access to the second island. That's good. This is going to be an interesting traffic dilemma soon enough, because of how we have the lights here, plus the cross lights, plus the one-way road. So we're you know what? Hang on. Let's see how big those roundabouts are. How big or how small of a roundabout can we get? Oh, that's a massive roundabout. Oh, that's not too bad, actually. Actually, that might fit, to be honest, if we can get rid of those side ones. That's not actually too bad. Alright, future planning problem. Don't worry about it right now. For now, let's make sure our citizens are happy with their water needs. There we go, and make sure they get electricity up there. This way, maybe? Ah, because of how the highway goes there. Alright, let's try it this way. Come on. Why can I not? Oh, okay, there we go. Just had to kind of get it right in the middle. Holy crap. Alright, there we go. That's better. So we're connecting across the highway a bit. Slow down the game a bit for us. That should get electricity in there now for everyone. Well, for you guys at least. And we'll also get... There we go. Alright, so everyone should be connected up. We should be okay. Ah, yes, look at that. Now the nice thing is that in this game the land does actually rehabilitate itself over time. So this should all turn back into the nice lush green tropical kind of stuff that we're seeing before. That we're seeing all over here. Alright, so pause it real quick. So now that we have this coming in here, you know what, yeah, let's do a roundabout here, just so we can kind of build all across this island here. So we'll get you there. There we go. This isn't too bad. Actually, hang on. No, you know, it's definitely not a good idea to have your roads go from 4 lanes down to 2 lanes, kind of converging like that around a roundabout. Just because it'll really lead to backups and everything, so we're going to make sure that it's like that. There we go. Which is actually rather interesting that it's... Oh, I see how it's doing like that. Okay, cool. Yep, so there we go. That'll get us people in, and then we can just kind of keep the 2-lane roads for now around the island. So I'm just going to go here to our view settings for a second and see the resources we have. So yeah. I mean, as you can obviously see, the dark green around here shows where our forest, in this case, is for our forestry. So we definitely have a lot of access to it across all the islands, so we are absolutely capitalizing on that. In fact, I think this entire second island might just be all our lumber and our industrial, as much as we can at least. It's probably a good plan, to be honest. Alright, let's get our ring-ish road going again. Let's go to the side here. Right there. Ooh, now we actually have the faults here, which is kind of cool. Kind of makes it difficult to build across, so I think I'll do it like that. There we go, and then we'll continue down here. And we'll call it about there for our ring road. So that's not too bad at all. Actually, we've got our two-lane road going around the outside, and we can fill in the gaps as we need going into it for whatever we need for our lumber. So with that being said, we first have to go... The very first step, at least, we have to do is we have to name this a district. From the district settings, or from the district options, we can then tell it to be a forestry district, and that will ensure that any industrial buildings that go in there are related to forestry. The same idea also goes for fertile land, if we have any for farming, for oil, if we get that as well. You get the idea. So let us... Here we go, let's go to industrial, let's paint our forest industry here. Oh, sorry, wrong screen. There we go, let's paint our stuff here. Well, you know, I kind of want the whole island to be based around forestry, so let's spend a quick second and just get this whole... Oh, that is... Oh dear. This shows why I am not an artist by any means, or any stretch of the imagination in real life. This clearly shows why. I have... Oh, no, whoops. Hang on, I have messed that up. I messed that up horribly. I cannot paint in the lines by any means. Alright, so we have Mulberry Hills, which, let's be honest, let's rename this. Not the best name. Actually, you know what? I'll let you guys decide the name. Let me know what you want this district to be called in the comments of this video. The most popular one will be the name in our next episode, so let me know. For now, though, we're going to call it Mulberry Hills. So it's Mulberry Hills for now, and then we are going to call it a forestry industry. We got that little tree icon under it there. And now any buildings we put in here that are industrial related will then obviously turn up that type of building. So let's get something going on here. Let's build. Let's start with something like this. It's a little tough with the ring roads because of the angling. Sometimes a sharp angle is disallowed by the game mechanics for building a road. So obviously, as you can see here, we had to kind of make two little roads in addition to the main roads to try and get it to curve properly. Not a big deal, more of just a point of note. Oh, that's actually not too bad. Let's just complete right down. Alright, so we should be good here. Let's get some of our forestry going. Huzzah! The one interesting thing too with all of this is that a lot of the industrial buildings or the industrial districts generate or require a lot of heavy traffic, so transport trucks, as you would probably imagine, are trying to transport these lumber, logs, and all that elsewhere. So generally you don't want those kinds of vehicles going through your main city streets. They're large, they're bulky, they're loud, and they can create lots of backups. So because of how we have it laid out here, it's actually not too bad because our main trucks, or sorry, the trucks will be coming down the main road here, actually, as you can see there, coming down the main road and turning into the subdivision. Great. In theory, the trucks are going to be coming down like these green ones are, and then we'll be making their way... Nope, they won't have down too. We'll be making their way across the bridges here into the industrial district. Alright, these guys need some electricity, so let's make sure that happens. So our closest electrical point actually is right here, so let's get you built across. Thankfully, electricity does not cost a lot to build across, because it's just little cemented pillars, basically. Thankfully, not as much as bridges. And water. Let's get some water going, too. I forget if I mentioned this in the last episode or not, but the one thing to keep in mind with water is that the distance from the input source actually matters. water pressure, essentially. The further away you are from the input source, the lower the water pressure is. It's represented by a slightly faded version of the pipe colorings. Luckily, it's all still full here, so it's still that full color. But could definitely lead, if you make it too far from the source, can definitely make it weak enough that it doesn't provide water, and that's not a good thing, obviously. So why is the power not... Oh, okay, so, you know, good time to talk about this, actually. So right now, our production for electricity is 16 megawatts, but consumption is 17. So we're short by the 1 megawatt. So I can either build out another one of these turbines, or a coal plant or something, which is probably not a bad idea, and probably what I will do. Or, if you're in a tight pinch, you can go to your budget, and you can increase the budget allocation for each of the services, which increases its capacity, but then also increases the operating costs. So it's kind of one of those decisions on if you want to have a higher week-by-week cost for the short term, or if you want to pay that upfront cost to build the building, and then have a lower operating cost overall going forward. You can also break it down by day and night cycle. For visual purposes, I've kept the day-night cycle off, so it always stays in daytime. It just allows you to basically manipulate some of the timing of things versus day and night. I guess it's actually a bit harder if everything's in daytime because there's no nighttime slowdown of traffic or nighttime people are going to bed. So I guess it is a bit harder that we're keeping the day-night cycle off, but that's okay. We're up to the challenge. Anyway, enough of that rambling. We are going to build a third... Actually, do I want to do that? Or we can either build like a wind turbine, water or land, or I could do the coal plant. And to be honest, the 40 megawatts for 19,000 is way better than the 8 for 6,000 we get. So as much as I hate to do this, I think we are going to build a coal plant. The real question is where. And, well, I think we'll actually put it right here. Since we're putting it right here next to our landfill, that kind of keeps the pollution centralized, so you don't have to worry about that spreading into more of our commercial and residential areas. So we should be good. Also, I'm getting rid of... They were the other small industrial buildings we had there. Getting rid of them because we now have our lovely forestry down here. So as you can clearly see, the buildings being built up are aesthetically much different from the other industrial buildings. A lot more visually pleasing, and also has, again, the impact that it's not polluting the area. So we'll let that sort of build up over time. We should be okay. The one thing, however, is that because we're using forestry, and trees and all that, they are super flammable. Like, one fire in there can definitely lead to the whole thing going up. So we are putting some fire protection right there. As you can see, like, each individual tree everywhere else is massively red, and that makes sense. You know, the fire is going to spread over time if there's trees around it. So hopefully we can kind of limit the impact right now by having that there. How's the rest of our services doing, by the way? Water-wise, we're still more than enough. Sewage-wise, we're still pretty good. Or sorry, landfill-wise, we're still really good. Healthcare is pretty good too. Oh. Death care, however. Alright, so. According to this error message here, a dead person is waiting for transport. That's because we had locked some stuff relating to death care. So, graveyards and the like. We have not yet put those out, so let's do that now, actually. So, death care, we're going to have cemetery. It's not a large cemetery, so we could fit it... Actually, you know what? Kind of going back on what I literally just said about having this entire island forestry related. trying to see if there's another place that's kind of open we could build it. I don't want to build it next to... Don't want to build it next to the landfill. Kind of ill taste to do that. You know what? For the time being, I guess we'll have to build it out here on the island. Kind of going back to what I said before. Sorry about that. But we'll try and keep just that sort of localized over there as the death care. There we go. Should be good. Alright. So you guys are all good now from that perspective. Their corpses are being taken. Emergency services. Well, we'll have to take a look probably at some of the emergency services for the disasters pretty soon. We're still okay for crime. Education's also not too bad right now. The only thing is that we do have the high schools unlocked, which does mean we'll have to get that in there at some point. Not right now because of the money, but we... Oh, crap, wait, oh, crap, nope, stop, oh boy. Almost failed the scenario, as our money is at $13. Thank goodness I saw that, because that would have been horrible to have that there. So let's take the loan out real quick. We're okay. Maybe we'll increase our taxes by 1% more, just to make sure that our services are being covered off. And we should be okay. Hopefully. Oh geez, that was actually really close. I'm glad I saw that actually. Alright, money is back to 18. I just want to make sure that we're getting positive. Okay, we're back to positive again now. I just want to make sure that people aren't complaining about the tax hike. Doesn't look like they are, so we should be okay. Definitely have to keep tabs on that though going forward. So we got that there. We'll get some electricity to you as well. Come on. There we go. There we go. Nice little graveyard there. So we can store it up to 3,000 people there, so that's not too bad. And going forward too, we also have the option for a crematorium and all that as well, so space might not be as bad going forward. Alright, so we're at $44,000 to work with, and there you go, let's get the high school going as well. Thankfully, the larger establishments, so the high school compared to the elementary school and the university compared to the high school, all have larger radiuses for the area that they can impact. So for example, putting it on the main road here won't necessarily be a bad thing. But I think, however, just trying to see how we can get this. The one issue is we have these, our homes, our residential area on the north side of the island, which again is pretty hard to get to. But here we go. I think it doesn't really impact the whole lot of that there, so I think we're okay. Let's put that school there. Everyone's happy from it, and so we'll start to see everyone going from uneducated to educated at the elementary level, educated to well-educated with the high schools, and eventually well-educated to highly educated with the universities. Eventually, if we get that far. Okay. So not too bad so far. Let's just see what else there is we can build. So a disaster response unit isn't a bad idea. That is actually what I mentioned in the last episode, which could sort of help us with our, hey, something's gone wrong, we need to fix it type of idea. But also costs $15,000, and we don't have $15,000 to spare. So maybe not. The short mast radios and the long mast radios can be used to get the word out to the citizens that there's a disaster coming, because we can also build evacuation shelters, can't talk today, which can house people during larger issues like tsunamis. Those all cost a lot of money though, so we are going to probably avoid that for now. Unfortunately, if things happen, we may just have to kind of suck it up a little bit and hope for the best. Alright, so we need a bit more commercial, so let's get commercial up here next to our highway. that we're building in. And then let's also build a little bit more of residential. It's not a whole lot we can work with here from a space perspective. It's a little thin, but we should be okay. Let's get there. Let's get this road here covered up. Try my best to make sure that the residential area does not go into the polluted area, just because we don't want our citizens having to deal with pollution as much as they would like to avoid it, essentially. Alright, there we go. Looks like everything is coming together. Hey, where are you off to, Mr. Police Officer? One of the Cedar residents. Uh-oh. You know what, let's follow you and see what's going on there. Whoa, okay, you're walking in. You walk through the bushes and then you pulled away. Love it. You know what, these people have really classy cars. And look at those flowers on that beetle, I'm assuming? Nice. Apparently everyone's got that style over here. Alright, so we're not doing too bad. So because we are limited with space, we obviously want to... We're not going to have the luxuries necessarily of lots of roads and the ability to use roads to counteract a lot of the congestion we'll inevitably get when we get a lot of population in. So it might not be a bad idea to look at some of our transit. So right now, I'm just trying to see here. Is there data relating? Oh, no, not escape routes. I'm just trying to see if there's a way to show where people are going. Transport. I could have sworn there was a way to see. Oh, is this flow? Nah, that's just traffic flow. It doesn't really show the movement of people. So the only busy area, I guess, right now for our traffic are the highway on-ramp and off-ramps. But I mean, that's sort of expected. Again, we can definitely look at adjusting those as we go forward. Not a big issue. But for now, I think we are A-okay. I mean, it is just volume passing through. It's not like it's backing up anywhere. Alright, so as we were saying, let's look at some transit options. Nice, we've got some 4-lane road with bus lanes. Actually, can that fit? Ooh, you know what? That might not be a bad idea. Just to get the infrastructure started. There we go. So, that's not bad at all, actually. So we've converted our 4-lane road into basically a 6-lane road, actually, that has a bus and taxi lane in the middle. This will allow... Yeah, there we go. See, so people are kind of using the road now like that. Oh, but... Duh. I definitely misinterpreted what that road meant. So, I was interpreting that as there would be 6 lanes, for 4 for cars and then 2 for bus and taxi. Not the case. So I definitely don't want to cut out on traffic right now because it's not like our buses are super high priority. So let's actually just undo what I did there. Whoopsies! Alright, so that costs us a bit of unnecessary money, but it's okay. So yeah, let's get a bus going. Let's not get a bus going, actually. That bus depot is way more expensive than I thought it would be. Anything else in the meantime? Tram, way too much. Oh, here we go. A taxi depot. That's not... That's not too bad, I think. don't really have enough people here yet, I think, to warrant a whole taxi depot. I guess my thinking was more so we could get people across the island a bit more efficiently if we had a bus. But I guess right now there really isn't a major need for it yet, because honestly it's just our forestry, so we should be okay. Yeah, so maybe instead we'll prioritize the disaster response before looking at public transit. That makes a little more sense to me, I think, right now. So we have 15,000 we could use for that. Upkeep is $640 a week. That would keep us positive still, actually, because we're at 800. But it doesn't look like there's enough more, because all the other stuff we get for the various different things, the earthquakes, the tsunamis, the meteors, a lightning storm, and so forth, all really don't come until later for us, like 1,800 people, 1,200 people. So I guess in that respect we'll probably want to wait a little bit, but it's not a bad idea to get small buildings. I could have sworn there was more we could have built. Oh, I guess I was kind of not looking at that at all. So there is actually a small emergency shelter we could build, which, I mean, would help save 1,000 people. That's not too bad. I mean, that is most of our population right now, but it costs 24,000. So I think we will build that. We'll build that infrastructure next. That's our goal. We'll speed up the game a little bit just to get us a bit more money faster. In the meantime, though, we'll get some more citizens in here. Let's use the paint bucket. Oh wait, no, bad idea. That's super close to the pollution, so we're going to avoid that. Get some homes in here. Actually, you know what? We're going to have some nice waterfront villas. Let's do that. Get some waterfront villas going. They're not actually waterfront villas, but we're going to pretend that they are. Like, look at that. Does that not scream delightful waterside cabin? It doesn't, I know. It really doesn't. The great thing, though, is that as these buildings upgrade over time, you know, their needs are met and people are satisfied, they do start to look a little bit nicer, so that's good. Alright, so we've reached 1,200, so we've got city planning policies, new buildings, just a bunch more policies and roads that we can use, which we're definitely going to use going forward. Just for right now, I think we're okay from a size perspective. But okay, we got some more money, so let's get our disaster response units in effect. So in total, if we wanted to, in total, if we wanted to have all three components, the response unit, the shelter, and the radio masts, we're looking at 10,000, 34,000, 49,000. 49,000 also costing us a good couple grand, or not couple grand, about a fair bit in terms of weekly upkeep, which we still don't quite have enough of from an income perspective. So I think we're going to wait on that just a little bit longer. But let's do our little tsunami boy right here. We'll put it right out here in the middle. There we go. And so that'll give us a little more alert as to when a tsunami is coming. Noise level, it says a warning if there are changes so the city can prepare if a tsunami is heading their way. So that protects it, well, it doesn't protect us, but it alerts us at least to one of the disasters in advance, so we can make better use of those shelters, the masts, all of that good stuff. What's going on here? Not enough educated workers. So that's unfortunate. Get a library going then. Maybe we can... 22,000. That's the issue, is that, you know, a problem comes along and then you're like, well, let's just build a building to solve it. But then that kind of messes up all your other plans you had initially. Alright, let's not build that. It's unfortunate, 'cause I guess the building has gone under. Not enough educated, not enough educated. Oh. Well, I guess it was abandoned. Poor organic foods. It's a historical building. No, it's not. Okay, so with abandoned buildings, those will, if there's a demand for it, that will repopulate itself over time. Unfortunately, though, until that point, it kind of leaves a bit of a scar, quote-unquote, on the area. I'm not too concerned right now because it really is just the one building, so we should be fine. But of course, if it becomes a whole pervasive problem and a whole area starts looking like that, then we'll probably want to reconsider. Anyway, at this point, I think we're good at this point right now for the episode. In the next episode, we can work towards building up our response network, and then go from there. At the very least, we populated the second island here, or have at least started to populate it, so we're on the right track. So thank you everyone so much for watching this video. If you did like this video, please leave a like or a comment below. I really appreciate that. And speaking of comments, don't forget to tell me what you'd like the name of our district to be. It is our first district after all, and it's going to encompass the entire island, so get creative and post your ideas there, and we'll look at what the results are in our next episode. And yes, if you would like to stay updated for any future videos I have, please hit the subscribe button, and if you want, turn on the bell notification so you are updated for my updates. And until next time, everyone, it has been a pleasure. Thank you for watching.